3 days after the worst winter storm we've ever seen, we're back to normal in Texas. That's what the ground looks like, even though it was covered in snow, like I said, just 3 days ago. Good morning. Wednesday, February the 24th. Here talking about bands from the olden days. This is one actually that predates the last band I talked about. It's a project called Last Mule. That guy named Bradley, a guitar player. I think he's originally from Chicago, moved down to Dallas. It was interesting because he's one of those kind of self-taught guitar players, and the way he learned to play, it made it difficult for other people to play with him. Because the way he played, it was based on a chromatic scale. And for those of you who don't know much about music theory, there are only 12 notes on the piano, guitar, whatever. And major scales have 8, minor scales have 8. The pentatonic scale, or sometimes called the blues scale, only has 6. And it's the notes you leave out as much as the notes you play to determine what key you're in. And a major scale has certain notes, a minor scale has certain notes. But when you play all 12 notes, a chromatic scale, one, you're not limited to a particular key, but it also means that if somebody's trying to follow you, and it's like, okay, I don't drive on the streets, I drive on the sidewalk, I drive in the front yard, down the alleys. It's like, okay, what are you doing? And that was something I had a hard time with trying to play with this guy, because it's like he was all over the place, and I'm used to just driving on the street. Trash truck. So in that aspect, it for me, it didn't really work. I mean, he was a nice guy, but I mean, as far as trying to play music with him, it was really, really difficult. He had created an album for himself to kind of attract people to, figure out what he did. And that was a friend of his that had, tried to put some theory to what he played and put background to what he was doing. But even with that, it was still very hard for me to try to figure out, what was really happening there, because some of the stuff didn't seem to really gel as well as you would hope. So, yeah, it was a very short-lived kind of a thing. As it was after a very short period of time, I said, I'm not really the right guy for you to play with. He found a drummer though, and I was there for his first and only club gig in the city of Dallas. The guy who was running the boards didn't like the sound of the band and pulled the plug after 3 songs. So these guys suck, and I don't want them in my club. It's like the club owner said, "This is not your club." He goes, "Well, you get somebody else to run the boards then, because I'm not doing it." I'm like, wow. Trash truck. We had excess of trash here. They hadn't picked up for like 5 cycles. So there were piles of trash everywhere. But back to the music. So yeah, that didn't last long. Notable things. One time we're jamming at his house, and I told him I needed to be home by a certain time, and we were like 20 miles away from the house, and he left me about 12 minutes. And yeah, he actually got me back down from Garland, Texas to near Fair Park in about 12 minutes, actually less than 12 minutes. He had a Mustang SVO back at that time. I had never moved that fast through traffic in my entire life. I had So, turbo cars, lots of torque. Anywho, but yeah, that was another, just page in the thing. And that's one of the things you'll find, that the level of musicianship out there, it varies wildly, especially when you're talking about in the, quote unquote amateur ranks. People you pick up, in the articles in the paper, or used to be in Dallas, the paper to pick up, find musicians was the Dallas Observer. They had listings for free. You can put stuff in there, and that was like the musician's Bible here as far as finding people to hook up with, in a matter of speaking. So that's the story for today. It's a little cooler out here than I anticipated. But the stories continue. Got a few more of them. But for now, that's it. Until next time.